here today. What a great year for you. So let's start off this chat by first congratulating you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
If we're so happy looking at you, really want to know what your headspace is like at the moment.
I honestly don't know sometimes because when there's so much positive energy being thrown at you, you feel like, how do I take it? Is something bad going to happen now? What do I do? How do I feel? But I've always gone with this philosophy ki don't get too caught up in the highs or the lows. Just be equipoised, do your thing. Zindagi वैसी थी आज भी ऐसे ही है. You know, just like keep it like that.
I'm a humble boy from
No.
South of India.
Obviously, I'm enjoying it. 100% I'm enjoying it.
Right.
But I try to keep myself on the ground that way.
For sure.
Yeah.
And listen, what a fabulous year for the entire team of Khogaye Hum Kahan, right?
Yes.
Like so
That
many
also.
awards, so much appreciation. And I feel it's a compliment. I've said this to others, I'm saying this to you also. Every character did so much justice to the parts that they played that nobody went unnoticed, right? Like, what a fantabulous film. If that's like a game changer from an audience perspective for us and all the actors in the film, you being a part of that project, how do you feel it was a game changer for you?
I mean, you're part of a film with makers who have made films you've been inspired of. You know, from the very beginning, from Dil Chahta Hai to Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. And again, now another iteration of a friendship film. I mean, come on, yeah. From the people who have made those films, it was a dream come true. And it's also my second project with Tiger Baby and XL. So that also felt like, wow, I mean, you know, another one with them. They are one of the leading production houses, and it was just a phenomenal experience. I feel like the way you watch it, the feeling you have was the same feeling shooting it, honestly, because I think when you shoot something with such passion and honesty, only then that translates
Right.
to audiences.
Of course.
You know, and I think that's what happens, and when it's done in such a honest way, it comes on screen.
And also, Rohan, let's just put this out there. 2 extremely popular streaming platforms has been on your roster of work this year. It's Netflix and Amazon. Show just came out. Oh my God, like, do you want to call yourself a web OTT prodigy child now?
No. Actually, funny thing, किसी ने comment किया कि Netflix पे red flag, Amazon पे green
flag. Boy, full of green flag energy. You know, I'm so glad.
That was funny.
Because that's exactly what was going on in my mind. Like, at one point, you've played a character which is a hardcore red flag. Like, listen, now I know you and all, it's a different story, but I hated your character in Khogaye. I said, kya kar raha hai ye banda yaar? And then, boof, suddenly here, you're just like, oh my God, what is this energy? Like, great way of shape-shifting. But personally, where are you in this whole debate of red flag and green flag that's ongoing nowadays? Like, as a guy, do you also see red flags and green flags in women around?
In women around?
Or
wow.
kya?
I mean, yeah, I think everyone has their sides to being a red flag and a green flag. I mean, it's also weird to categorize it like that. I think everyone is what they say pink flag nowadays. I don't know what अभी उसका मतलब I don't know.
बीच का
है.
जो हम सब है grey.
Correct. Grey flag.
Grey flag.
But I think you have to be both, yeah. I mean, that makes you human, na? You can't always be a red flag. You can't always be a green flag.
True.
You know. So it's fun, definitely the most satisfying when you play a character like that, because it then gives you access to those sides of you.
Right. Yeah.
Which in Khogaye, I mean, I've hardly gotten to a physical fight with someone. बचपन में school में तो it happens, but that's the beauty of the profession, I would say. You know, puts you in those situations, you can access that.
And how easy was it for you to play green flag? Because you're giving very green flag energy anyway all the time. वो तो easy होगा.
My debut was in Made in Heaven.
Right.
So I think that's what started off this whole green flag persona. But sorry, your question was how do you
like feel being this green flag? Is it easier
how
to
do
play?
I feel?
Is it easier to play a part which you already sort of relate to? Na? You give me very
it
green
does,
flag
but
positive energy.
It gives there's so much satisfaction when you play red flag also, na?
You know, a lot of actors have this to say that when they're playing shades of grey or something which is negative, it's a lot more stimulating because they're tapping into very different sections of themselves rather than playing an easy grey
बहुत बार हुआ है जिंदगी में ना, where you sometimes feel like you want to give back, or you want to fight back, or you want to. But I know in my mind, the way I've been brought up by my parents and my family and the people around me, I have learned how to deal with that explosive nature.
Right.
In a calming way. But then when you have a character like Rohan Bhatia, who isn't like that, then let go.
Rohan X Rohan, not me. Crazy.
Correct.
I know, pretty much that.
Only Rohan can be a Rohan, that's what
Rohan
I said.
Rohan
Yeah.
But, I also want to ask you, you're a young guy coming from a different city in Mumbai, in a job that's damn competitive. Like every single day, you're literally fetching that bread that you have to win and earn, right? And then you have like these massive bills to pay because Mumbai to chalo is even more competitive. Life is tough.
100%.
How do you then sort of keep your sense of sanity between fetching work, the right kind of work, and then also leading your life?
I think the beauty of not being from Bombay is what keeps me grounded. Bangalore's a place for me. When I go back, I genuinely feel rooted in that city because it is far from cinema, it is far from your paparazzi culture. Right. Although the South industry is massive, as we all know, everyone going from here to the South nowadays. Sab nikal rahe hain wahan se. So I think going back to Bangalore for me is very important. And shuruaat mein when I used to go back and forth, I used to think of Bombay being the playground and Bangalore as the lab. Where I work on my craft and work on myself and go back to my roots. And Bombay was the place where it was meetings, shoots, and performing.
Right.
Now those worlds have merged because I just moved a few months ago, and it's a beautiful feeling to have best of both. I feel.
Yeah, but is it tough or is it
tough.
easy?
Yeah. I think nothing's easy. Nothing's easy in life. I feel. As long as you're doing something every day to get better, it'll be fine.
But, so since this is the first time we're chatting, I want to get to know you a little bit better and understand where did the bug of becoming an actor sort of hit you and what is it that you were doing prior to this?
So actually the first art form for me was dance. I started out dancing from a very young age. ऐसे बचपन में you go na to shamak dawa classes.
All of us.
This, that, after school as a hobby. And I basically started doing that. I started doing shows with Shamak Davar and the groups and the winter funk programs and this and that. And then I never thought that I would do performing arts as a profession. It's just that when I moved houses in Bangalore from Koramangala to Whitefield, shout out to my Whitefield boys, because people say that Whitefield is actually not Bangalore and all that stuff. So it's a special place for me. And in Whitefield, there's a theatre called Jagriti, Jagriti Theatre, which is a famous theatre now. And at that time, Jagriti was just coming up. Okay. And the person running it, Arundhati Raja, she was friends with my mother. And she was looking for kids for classes and trying to find people who can come and do the Trinity Guildhall course, which they teach over there. And my mother just enrolled me.
Wow.
She was like, वैसे ही कुछ नहीं कर रहा है घर पे. Just send him there. So that's how it started. But ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं था कि मैं stage पे गया and I was like, oh my god, this is my calling. It was never like that.
Right.
It was definitely something which I look back now and I think, yeah, it was a very hollow dream to think my dream was to become an actor from 6th standard, 7th standard onwards. But I think 8th standard में ना, I think किसी ने NYU Tisch के बारे में जिक्र किया and I was like, wait, what is this? And again, if you ask any of my my school friends, everyone would say कि yeah, Rohan wanted to be an actor, but if you ask them, have you seen him act? He'll be like, no, I haven't seen him act. So it was a very, very hollow dream. Very hollow dream.
Why though?
But I just kept to it. I don't know. I think it was a hobby for me, which I somewhat enjoyed. But then slowly, I felt like, yeah, if I want to go to NYU, let's see by the time 12th standard comes around, if I want to apply or not. Then 12th standard came around. And then I said, "Okay, I'll apply. I'll give it my best. I'll send in my auditions. I send 2 monologues, do a Skype interview, jo bhi hai." And then after I got into Tisch, I said, "Okay, ab ye main kar paunga. Abhi dekhte hain if I can actually do it or not."
Right.
Plus, that's what gave my parents also some belief ki yaar, he's not just saying it.
Correct.
And then I would say from NYU onwards, it started.
Fab.
That
And now
was
you're
when the
here.
real journey started.
Yeah, because I think everybody has a backstory that sort of. I mean, if I look back, I never knew this is what I'm going to do. I
Right.
always knew I enjoyed being in front of the camera, but what? I don't know. Like, tell me to
Correct.
act, I would not be able to do anything. But tell me to chit chat and
I
converse.
think you can, yeah. You
No,
can do a
yeah.
monologue right now,
No,
yeah?
yeah.
Let's do a monologue, dramatic monologue.
No, trust me, no. Like, but I just love interacting with people and new people
Yeah.
and meeting and getting to know them. I feel that's what my profession in some way allows me to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then again, do it from the people from my industry, it's even more fun. So eventually it all sort of comes in a full circle. But what I also want to ask you, Rohan, is that often time and again, especially being an actor, right? Like sometimes you're probably required to go through the whole cookie cutter format. Like, dish, 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 dish. Like you gotta have a strong PR, you gotta work on your body and have your hair and makeup and face and this and that, all of that happening. But then I've also met a whole bunch of other actors who say that we don't want to fit in that cookie cutter, right? Because probably we feel maybe not fitting in is making your own niche.
Yeah.
Where do you think you are on that graph?
I think when you're starting off, you do have to play the game a little bit.
Right.
As much as you want to make your product the most unique, I think there are some rules to the game that you play, and then uske baad, when you've attained something, then branch out.
Right.
And that's not to say you lose track of who you are and you fall into norms and you fall into these stereotypes and be like, yaar, ye log kar rahe hain, mujhe bhi karna padega. None of that. I don't fall into that. I just think there's some things that you should do in order to first get the viewership, in order to create your own niche.
Correct.
And likewise, some people don't do that and some people still create their niche, which is, it all depends on where you see yourself.
Right.
But I think if you're true to yourself from the beginning, if you consume content that is in line with how you feel, you look at yourself, if you try to bring that to your roles, I think that will slowly create your niche. And you don't have to worry about, do I have to wear these clothes in order for me to be seen? Or do I have to dress, or do I have to look like this or be like this? Because I think then work will speak for itself.
Right.
And that's the way I look at it. Otherwise, if you're worried about all the other products, all the other aspects of your product, then you're going to a different direction, I feel.
What part about being an actor really stimulates you then?
That the more I do it, the more I learn about myself.
Tell me something that you've learned in the last 1 year specifically, since you've done so much. Like, I feel you dabbled into everything. There's a music video,
Right.
there are commercials, there's your OTT project, there's a film you shot for something else as well.
Right.
Like, amidst all of that, what did you sort of gain or probably discovered about yourself?
That as much as you can be obsessed with perfection, it is best to not fall into trying to be the most perfect in every role you do. Because I think the barikiyan of a character comes in surrendering yourself to it and not having to think too much about how do I make this the most perfect character possible. Because then to some extent, it's great to have that. I still do that in my work, but I think that can work against you to some extent. And that's one thing I've learned even in my everyday life. Just be yourself. You do everything truthfully. You be honest with the people close to you. And as much as you try to have these expectations, I want it to be this way, that way, it'll work against you. And that is, you can learn so much of that from this profession, I feel.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. But tell me something, when you are in an industry where there are eyeballs on you, right? And then there's a pressure of also maintaining social media and then having the right amount of followers and then engaging with them, yet not overexposing, because eventually we all dream of the fandom, right? Yeah,
Correct,
exactly.
correct.
Where are you? How do you sort of strike that balance for yourself personally?
It's a weird thing. There's no right way, wrong way to do it. I think I would love to just come here, talk to you, go home and not open my phone and worry about what are people saying about this?
Wow.
How are people receiving it? No, I mean, I feel like if we're having a conversation, we're having this because we're generally having this conversation.
Right.
And we're not trying to, at least I'm not trying to be someone different for people to like me. Because I think at the end of the day, yes, there is to some extent, you are a little different in front of a camera
Absolutely.
or anything. But at the end of the day, the social media presence, again, you have to play the game. There is some part of the game you have to play. And as much as you feel like you want to be private and maybe be a normally like a Ranveer Kapoor, who isn't on Instagram or any of the platforms. And I feel like you have to also understand where you are in your industry. You can't necessarily always be just hidden away in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Sitting there.
As much as you'd want to
As
do
much
that.
as I loved it. But there is a big benefit of being here, of course. And I'm in love with the city now. It's only been 5 months for me.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to learn how to balance it.
Right.
You know, social media is something that can work in your favor.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as it can be a task for you, it can bring you so many things you never imagined.
Right.
You know.
Bangalore also gave us Deepika Padukone.
Correct.
Like, nobody can forget about that Bangalore
Correct.
gave us Deepika Padukone.
I mean,
so I feel Bangalore is getting into the acting thing now.
Honestly.
Yeah. Are you like ever imagining yourself working with her?
Of course.
Who wouldn't?
I met her at the Fighter premiere.
Ah.
And I remember I'd come thoda last minute because I was at some event. And I came and tabhi the interval had just finished. So she was sitting outside the theatre. She wasn't sitting inside because I think she had come out for a phone call or something. And I thought couldn't go in because I was a little late. So then I just went through and I sat there just waiting. I was waiting for a friend of mine. And she was also there. And I was like, oh my God. Just be cool. Just act like you're looking at something. You know, just don't worry too much. And she and I happened to look at each other at the same time because I think then some people started coming out of the theatre. And I froze because she started smiling at me and then walking up to me. And I also was walking up to her and I said, hi, she was like, oh, Khogaye hum kahan, na? And I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
But you are Ye Jawani Om Shanti Om. So it was the most gratifying experience for me because not that I'm trying to explain how she recognized me or anything. It's more like the genuine interaction I had with her.
Yeah.
And how we spoke about Bangalore and we spoke about how I'm about to move to Bombay and dosa, this and that. And
but she also has an amazing memory. She remembers.
Yeah.
She has a great memory.
Just I had my own Om Shanti Om moment.
Yeah.
Like her dupatta got stuck in my,
Wow.
that felt like that was in my head. But
manifesting a movie with
no,
Deepika.
but it was a beautiful interaction. But yes, hopefully one day.
Would you oscillate between, picking your projects, which is, let's say, just Hindi cinema, and then also branch out to doing other languages? Or do you want to first dabble into just the Hindi space?
So funny thing is, when I was starting off, I've done many 1 minute, 2 minute roles. Even before Made in Heaven.
Rocky Rani also.
Rocky Rani तो 3 मिनट का रोल था.
हाँ, सबको याद है लेकिन अभी ज़्यादा आए रॉकी रानी में भी था रोहन.
तो उससे पहले भी I had done a like literally 2-second role in a Tamil movie called Love Today, which became a massive hit, and now there's a remake happening.
Right.
And I had actually done an internship in the South industry when I was in college.
Okay.
So I'd done an internship in the South. I'd done an internship with Excel Entertainment, and then with another independent director, Ashwin Kumar. So I 100%. I'm from Bangalore. So the Kannada industry, the Tamil industry, all these industries are Malayalam industry. I mean, they're definitely industries that I'm open to working in. Beautiful, beautiful storytelling.
Beautiful reminds me, a lot of women actors specifically, I feel vanity takes precedence, and it should, because we are probably in the performing arts where looks are also important. I've always wondered, do men also worry about vanity so much?
Of course. I mean, everyone's narcissistic in this industry. Come on, let's be honest.
Oh God, do you also look at yourself in the mirror and be like,
No.
"Ye
Actually,
karuga."
I was saying this in another interview. I wish that like in the vanity van there was a button where you can just, like how in the in
Transform.
Yes, like no, not transform.
Nah?
To just have like a blur out. है ना? ऐसा होना चाहिए in a vanity van.
AI को बुला लो, वो करेंगे.
I would love that if you get ready and then press the button and it just clears out. And it's not a mirror anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
But like, do you really worry about your physique, how you want to look? Like, do you want to keep shape-shifting?
Definitely to some extent. For me, working out and those things are not like a chore for me. I though genuinely love being healthy, as I think most people should be.
Absolutely.
Correct. After COVID. So for me, it's not a task to go to the gym or to eat healthy or to not sleep on time. Hopefully, I'm working on that.
Yeah, we're all working on sleeping on time.
Sleeping on time is a big one.
It's too much, यार. मैं सब meditate करती हूँ, but नींद नहीं आती.
नींद नहीं आती. गहरी नींद तो नहीं आती.
गहरी नींद नहीं आती.
But it's not. I mean, I do think about it, but it's not something that I feel. यार अब तो gym जाना पड़ेगा. You have to do this, that. I feel like I'm genuinely. I feel good.
But if they ask you to change your appearance for a look, would you go that extreme?
100%.
Wow, that's tough.
100%.
Right? But
it's tough, but for this role in Bandish Bandits, I learned the piano. That's not a transformation, but
it's an art skill.
It's a skill that may not necessarily be even recognized.
True.
You don't know. And for me, it's something that is just nourishing as an art form, rather than doing it for like dikhawa. You're not. Again, if I'm working on myself, I'm doing it for me.
Right.
I'm not doing it for. Yes, of course, it's a visual medium. Let's not be so.
Correct.
It
is.
But yeah, I think I do like to go to the extreme for the art form.
Okay, tell me what's your negotiable and non-negotiable as far as work or your role is concerned. Like ये मैं नहीं करूँगा.
I think extreme, yeah. Like maybe a character who's racist, who is offensive in a very unjustifiable way.
Fair.
है ना?
Yeah, fair.
I feel if it's unjustified, then I'm not doing it.
Fair. खुद को भी दिमाग में sense नहीं
ऐसे
बन रहा.
comedy के लिए करना है तो मुझे नहीं करना है.
हाँ.
है ना?
Got it.
It's not my cup of tea. But if it's something that is justifiable and people question about it, but I think I can find a way to be justifiable, like maybe like a Rohan Bhatia, then I'll be like, चलो ठीक है.
हाँ, कर सकते.
करते हैं.
कर तो लिया अभी तो आपने
कर तो
कर ही
लिया
दिया.
But yeah, I think those things. But it has to be an extreme. It comes in the script. I feel.
Right.
If it's not justified in the script, then it's there for a different reason. I feel.
Right.
Which I don't want to maybe get into.
Fair. Okay, lastly, before I wrap this up, Rohan, tell me what's next for you. What have you worked on? What are you shooting? Something that you can talk about and share with the audience.
Next, I have a very exciting project with a very, very exciting director, one of my favorites, Anurag Basu.
That's Metro.
Metro in
part 2, yeah.
Yes, so that's coming, hopefully.
We're all waiting for it.
I am also waiting.
क्योंकि पहली वाली Metro
shooting खत्म हो गया, हाँ, correct. So that's coming out next year. And there are other projects that are in pre-production, and those also very exciting, very different roles, different worlds, and let's see. Okay,
how's it working with Anurag? He's one man.
Oof, with Basu sir, it was. There's no script. Let's just start with that. There's no script.
Right.
तो मतलब shoot पे आके क्या करेंगे? Like how do you go about that in terms of coming to a set with such a massive production and not knowing what you're going to say?
Right.
That is interesting for me because on Bandish a lot of that happened, and on this it was the most gratifying experience because it taught me that you don't have to depend so much on coming prepared to the set. and his language, his writing is also very, very conversational, very, very real and rooted. So I feel you don't have to think too much about what you're going to say because it's all on the page.
Right.
And like every great actor says, when the writing is good, you don't have to do much. Because the moments are created in that.
Yeah.
And Basu sir is one of those writers.
Great.
And that's what I felt.
And you've got to do that also, so it's amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, and Life in a Metro, obviously, what a classic
Cult movie it has become. Yeah, for sure.
So,
you know, I feel 2024 has been a great year. And 2025, because you're being very secretive about it, which I understand, because it's a part and parcel of your profession. You have contracts and you can't talk and everything. It's all that 1, 2, 3, 4 things are there. But all the very best. I hope how amazing 2024 has been for you. 2025, 6 going on. It's like that. And we keep coming back and doing more interviews and chat. And then I hear more Bombay stories from you.
Yes,
Bangalore.
now it'll start.
मैं यहाँ रहता था Bombay में ये हुआ. Now you'll have Bombay stories to give us. But all the best, Rohan, and really looking forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in India today.